Hey guys, hello, happy New Year again. I'm going to get our Instagram going. You know what the drill is. Oh, by the way, video premiere tonight at from 6 to 6:15. I'm going to put it down here. And here's the link to it on YouTube. All right. Get your questions in. I'm going to get on Instagram real quick. Let me get the Instagram going. All right, there's Instagram. Everything's good. We're here. Everybody's here. Instagram people are here. YouTube people are here. The gang's all here. I've got my tea in a paper cup today. That's what we had out there. So got a little mint tea. Share some tea with you guys. Going to answer some questions. We had an amazing week here at the Parlor of Wonders. I just want to tell you how much I love you guys and how much I love my students, all my students, and this magical group of 6 women, 2 women remotely, 4 women in the shop. We were learning all kinds of magical stuff: candle spells, mojo bags, jack balls, washes, cleanses, all kinds of amazing stuff. It was an amazing week, beautiful week of really powerful magic being done. And they were just amazing students. I learned from them. They learned from me. It was amazing. What can I say? This was a once in a lifetime thing. Never going to do that all week again. But I will be offering these classes probably individually, over time, live and over the internet. Probably one-offs, just like one thing, not the whole shebang. But it was an amazing week. What else is going on? Getting ready to actually go to PantheaCon, which is happening February 15th. So that's coming up in a month. PantheaCon is coming, so I hope to see you guys there. PantheaCon's in San Jose. It's a beautiful gathering, tons of great classes. I'll be teaching a class with Judica Ellis and Mary Kay Greer on the scary tarot cards, which will be very fun, a panel on that. And also working with wonderful Jim Barker, who is a fabulous palmist, and he and I are going to be doing a workshop on the symbolism of the hands in the tarot, what the hand positions mean symbolically. So for tarot nerds, this is going to be amazing. For palmistry nerds, this is going to be amazing. So I'm excited about that. So that's all coming up at PantheaCon. Sorry, guys. PantheaCon on January 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, all that President's Day weekend. So, all right. Okay, so let me get my, I'm sorry, my iTunes is like going cuckoo in the background. Let me get rid of that. All right. Okay, so let's look at questions. All right, I'm going to look over at YouTube, guys. Domenica, one of my fabulous students who was here this week. You can see a picture of us on Instagram all together, a picture of them all together. Domenica's here. She's back in Canada. Benny says, hi, Madam Pamita. Enjoy some of the now deleted 3-hour YouTube video. Just curious where it's from. That was a mistake. That was our class, and it wasn't meant to be public, so it's now gone forever. You got to join the class. Want to ask you, best day of the week for a success spell? What's the best day of the week for a success spell? Well, it depends on what kind of success you want. Do you want success in love? Do you want success in business? Do you want success in spiritual connection? Then you pick the day of the week for that. So there's no specific day of success, although I would say probably Thursday is a good day for success work in general. But you might want to look at the specific terms of your success to pick out which day of the week. If you don't know what day of the week is good for your spell, then take a look. Go over to my site, go under instruction, go to how-to guides, go to the candle how-to guide, and you'll see the days of the week. There's also a podcast episodes about which days of the week. So you can listen to that, or you can look at that, and that would be great. All right. Let's go look over on Instagram. Hello, everyone. Some music going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear that outside of my shop. Someone's blasting the music. American Rebel. Hi, Madam Pamita. It's my birthday today, and I'm looking forward to watching your videos. Happy birthday, American Rebel. Happy birthday. It's my friend Erin's birthday too today, by the way. Okay. Looking over at, let's get a question. I didn't get it. That wasn't a question. That was a happy birthday. Let's see what we've got going on Insta. How to cast a spell on a stubborn target. So Ismael Serranos asks, how to cast a spell on a stubborn target. All right, that's a great question, because then it talks, something that we talked about in our classes this week. We talked about what kind of spells. Like, you have lots of different options for spell work. You could do mojo bag, you could do a honey jar, you could do a candle spell, you could do working with oils and sachet powders and so on. Lots of choices to do magically. How do you make a decision which one to choose? Well, I think of there being, one of the ways of categorizing spells is to say that there are spells that are like a powerful rocket towards something, like candle spells are like a powerful rocket toward your outcome. And then we have spells that are like sanding a block of wood. You're consistently working on something over time. You know, like sanding a block of wood, you sand it, and then it gets smooth. It's not one swipe of the sandpaper that makes the wood smooth. It's many, right? So things like mojo bags, things like wearing oils on a daily basis, things like honey jars, where you're working on something consistently over time, I find in my experience, those do better on situations where you have a stubborn target. Now, you could definitely do something like do a road opener or blockbuster if you're having some kind of stubborn energy to open things up. But in general, I would say that you want to have something where you're working on somebody over time, because you want to wear down their resistance, especially if they're very resistant, especially if they're very, kind of pushing against. So working in that way would be, probably you probably get the best result. Especially, I find that with the clients, that if we have someone that's very resistant to something, working on them over time produces a better result than just a one-time candle spell. So there you go. Omira says, hello, darling, sending blessings from Massachusetts. Thank you so much. You guys, I posted the video premiere tonight from 6 to 6:15. We'll be chatting on that link. And then at 6:15, we have our video, which this week our video is going to be about, it's a video with a candle spell for courage and luck using a horseshoe candle, which is a very specific candle. You can find out how to use it. It's a great video to learn how to use that specific candle. Princess Glamorous, hello. Hey, girl. I'm going to hire you to belly dance at my party. That'd be amazing. Okay, let's see. Can you give me, my question is, can you give me a 7-day money candle spell, please? Nicole says that. Nicole over on YouTube. Yes, so if you want to do a 7-day money candle spell, what I would recommend doing is, you can do a couple different things. There's lots of, actually, let's talk about 7-day spells or multi-day spells and all the different ways that you can do them. One of the ways that you can do them is to use a 7-knob candle. So 7-knob candle is a specific candle that's designed with 7 knobs, and you burn 1 knob each day over 7 days. That kind of spell gives 7 times the power, because you're focusing each day and you're giving an energy for each day. Now, you could write 7 different wishes, or you could write the same wish 7 times, but either way, you're focusing that energy over 7 days. It's different than just burning a candle straight through. Another way of doing a 7-day spell or a multi-day spell is to burn individual candles each day. Excuse me. An example of that could be, for example, that you take 7 green candles, you dress them with prosperity oil or money drawing oil or abundant prosperity oil. Oh, by the way, the oils are out. We had our party. We talked about that the last time, didn't we? Did we? No, I didn't have a session because I didn't have, that's right. I didn't see you guys last week. Forgot because I was sick. But I'm better now. And I didn't lose my voice, thank goodness. But I didn't have a session because I needed to save my voice because I was teaching all week. So we had our oils, and our oils are out now, and they're amazing. They're available up on the website. We've got amazing abundant prosperity oil, which if you're going to do prosperity work, I think would be amazing for that prosperity work. They're available in my shop. They're available online, so check them out. Yes, so 7-day money candle. So you can do a 7-knob candle, dress it with abundant prosperity oil, Sprinkle it with alfalfa, sprinkle it with blue flag root, those are all good. Sprinkle it with allspice, those are all good herbs for basil, another good one. You might have your spice cabinet. But you can also do 7 individual candles. Now, for those, I would recommend candles that are going to burn fairly quickly. So you want like a slim taper or a thick taper, but you want those shorter tapers, not a big tall taper. Speaking of a tall taper, you can also do a very old-fashioned way of working, which is to get that tall taper and to get 7 pins and to stick 7 pins in that taper, and you burn 1/7 of the way down, and then the last pin is underneath at the bottom, right, that is underneath the candle, and you burn those down. Now you have those pins, and you can use those pins magically. You can pin them into your carpet, for example, if you want to bring that prosperity energy into your home, or you can hide them somewhere in your workplace or your business if you want to bring out that money energy from that spell. Carry that on. Those pins have that, carry that energy of that spell work. Here's another 7-day spell. And you can use abundant prosperity oil. You can use those herbs that I recommended, and you can do a very good spell for that prosperity. And there's 3 ways of doing it. 7 knob candle, small tapers, 7 small tapers over 7 days, or 1 big long taper with pins in it going down. Okay? All right, let's see what we got going on over on Instagram. Karen Stamper says, what can continuous love work on a target do if it's not successful? Okay, let's talk about success in spell work. All right, when you do a spell working, it's like taking a medicine, right? So the doctor could say, oh, looks like you have an infection. I'm going to give you this antibiotic. You should feel better in a week. If you don't feel better, come back and see me and we'll figure out what's going on. But I have every confidence that this is going to work. So when you do some spell work that's recommended by somebody who's knowledgeable, or maybe you just decide intuitively, I'm going to do some spell work, right? It's like you're taking a medicine for that situation. So if you're, let's say, for example, you're working on someone to get them to fall in love with you, right? You might get an inspiration, like I'm going to do a come to me spell, or I'm going to do a love me candle, or whatever it is that you're getting inspired to do, right? Now, when that candle is complete, you're going to look to see what the result is. So within a few days of that candle ending, you should get some kind of sign from the universe that your candle spell worked. A sign is not directly from the person or from the source or from the target, but it is something that's out there in the universe that's pointing in the right direction. Like you might see the word love. Let's say you're doing a love spell. You might see the word love, or you might see that target's name, or you might get hear their name, or you might see repeating numbers, or you see their birthday or something. You're getting some kind of sign from the universe. It's not from the person, but it's from the universe. Then if you see that, that's a good sign. If you start to get a sign within the first few days of completing that candle, or while that candle is burning. Sometimes people get even signs while the candle is burning. So that's a good sign that your candle spell is working. Now, we also want to do another checkpoint, which is the movement, that we start to see movement in the right direction. The person reaches out to you and sends you a message. You get a call back on your audition. You start to see more money flowing to you. Whatever it is that your spell is for, you're going to start to see movement. Not necessarily the culmination of everything that you're wanting, but movement in the right direction, okay? Then, finally, within a few months of completing that spell, you should get final culmination. That person is and you are together, your money is flowing to you, you've got a cast in a part, or whatever it is that you're shooting for with your spell work, right? Now, if at any point during that sign or that movement or that outcome, you're not getting the message, you're not getting the sign, you're not getting the movement, or you're not getting the outcome, then what you have to do is go back again and try something. Now, it's either doing that spell again, because like maybe it needs another dose, or maybe it's trying a different technique or a different method. Maybe it's trying a different candle. Maybe it's trying, instead of a candle, using a mojo bag. And maybe instead of using a mojo bag, it's doing a honey jar or something like that. So you can certainly go with your own intuition on what to do, or you can get a reading from a reader and see if there's something that needs some other kind of work in some other direction. So that's what we're talking about. So when you're not seeing movement, when you're not seeing a result from your spell, Karen, then what you need to do is either you need to get a reading to see what's going on. I would recommend getting a reading to see what is going on with this whole situation, but then see what spell work would be helpful in your situation and try something different or try another dose of the same thing. Okay? All right. Okay, Princess Glamorous is saying, do you think you could talk about how to use red brick dust? Just curious. I don't need to use it. I'm just wondering about it. I don't use a lot of red brick dust, so I don't, I'll speak to it sort of abstractly, but I can't say like, oh, I've used it a million times and I've had this result with it. Red brick dust is used for control work or crossing someone. And I don't do a lot of control, and I definitely don't do any crossing. So I don't tend to use red brick dust, but it's something that people use. It's definitely old hoodoo working. If you look in the Hoodoo Guide to Herbs and Roots, Hoodoo Herbs, Roots, and Catherine Ironwood's book on herbs, you'll find red brick dust in there, and you'll find some suggestions on how to use it, but it's not really my jam. It's not really what I do. I don't do a lot of cursing and control work, so it's not really my thing, but certainly could be used and certainly is used. So there you go. And you can make red brick dust yourself by taking a brick and smashing it, taking a hammer and smashing it up, and you can make your own red brick dust. Another way you could use red brick dust, which has an element of control, is if you have a building that you, let's say, want to work in that building, or you want to buy that building, or you want to rent an apartment in that building, and they have bricks. You can sort of wear away, take a metal object and sort of dig away at a brick and get some of that dust, and you can use it as a kind of personal concern of the building. So that's another way that I don't know that that's mentioned in the book, but that's a way of using red brick dust as well. All right, let's look over at Instagram. When you are doing a reading, what usually is the time frame for things to evolve, or can we block our good readings by our action? Okay, let's talk about my style of reading, my technique of reading. I can't speak to anybody else's style, but for my style of reading, I think of a reading as being like a roadmap. So just like Waze or just like Google Maps, Google Maps or Waze may say, this is something we use all the time in LA. We've got traffic here, and we rely on those tools because the traffic can be really bad. And we want to get to where we want to go as fast as possible. So Waze will say to me, let's say, for example, I'm going from my shop to my house, and it will say, the freeway's clogged. You're better off taking the surface streets through downtown rather than going on the 110 freeway going south. So I follow Waze, or I don't follow Waze. I could just say, I'll just stay on the freeway. Or maybe I miss my exit, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just be on the freeway now. Or I can follow what Waze says and get off on the surface streets and go through downtown that way. There's nothing with a reading that says that there's something that's so strong that it's a destiny. There are strong streams in certain directions, but oftentimes we see options and crossroads and things that you have options to do or not do. So depending, what I call those is like contingencies. Like if I'm going to give an example on a reading. I'm seeing a new romance coming in, and this person wants a new romance. But I'm also seeing that prior to that, maybe in the present, they have the Hermit card and Eight of Swords. So Eight of Swords would say there's some blocked energy, and the Hermit card would talk about where that block is, meaning they're being too withdrawn. They're not going out in the world. They're being hidden. So there's a contingency on that love coming in, meaning, let's say the following card, it's like those cards, and then there's a Sun card, And then we see that outcome of the lovers or two of cups or, whatever, just showing you a love relationship. So if I were seeing that reading and I was saying, okay, well, right now it looks like you're being a hermit. And what I see is that if you take the change in course, and instead of continuing to be a hermit, you decide to put yourself out there or be visible in some way, you're going to open up that love coming into your life. Then there's a contingency, and the contingency is that they have to get out there. They have to take some action that isn't maybe the normal path that they would go. Sometimes we see outcomes with a contingency. If you do this, then you'll get that result. So I don't know about your reading in particular, or what was going on, or what was said, or who did a reading. But when we look at things, we're generally looking about a year to a year and a half. Sometimes we see further out because we see bigger themes, and so those will be more long lasting. But generally, we're looking at like a year to a year and a half, and we're seeing a roadmap. But there may be some steps that need to be taken to get to the path. Like, just like I have to, if I want to get home in 35 minutes, I might have to go on the surface streets rather than on the freeway, right? But I have free will to do those things. So depending on your reading and what's going on in your reading, you may have had some contingencies of things that had to be done before the thing would open. And that I can't tell you because I don't know if it was me that did the reading or someone else that did the reading. Can we block a good reading by our actions? Well, sometimes there's not a strong stream in a certain direction, and there are those contingencies. So not taking action or not taking movement can slow it down. But what I would say is, this is the reality, is that if we see, for example, the love interest showing up in your life, the love interest is not like a one-time opportunity, like you got to get on it right now. If you decide not to take that contingency or not to take that action, you're just delaying that love coming into your life, but you're not blocking it or stopping it or missing your opportunity. Those opportunities, the universe wants us to be happy, and the universe will keep presenting those opportunities until we take whatever step that we need to take or do whatever action we need to do to support that. I hope that answers your question. Vivian, hi Vivian. Hi, so happy to be here again. My question is, when your spell starts manifesting, is there a special spell or ritual you recommend for gratitude? I think gratitude is a very powerful form of magic. It's a very powerful form of manifesting and making things happen. So simple thank you. Being up in the morning, getting up in the morning and thinking of all the things that you're grateful for, including the manifestation of your spell, is a great way to keep that flow coming, keep that good stuff coming to you. Excuse me. The remnants of that cold, that flu I had. When your spell starts manifesting, keep that gratitude. Be thankful for the signs that you see. Be thankful for the movement that you see, and just keep it flowing. Really keep it flowing with that gratitude. So that can be as simple as just like counting your blessings, thinking in the morning what you're grateful for, telling the person that you love you're grateful for them, telling your bank account you're grateful for the prosperity that's flowing in, whatever. One of the things, here's an example of that kind of gratitude work. Here's an example. I mean, you can definitely do things like, if you're working with saints or spirit guides, you can make offerings to them. But I'm going to tell you something that I do, and I do it every day, which is I have a lodestone with my money. And whenever I have an inflow of money coming in, I always feed a pinch of magnetic sand to that lodestone and tell the lodestone, thank you for drawing that prosperity to me. And I think that's a fabulous practice to do. It ensures you're going to keep that lodestone fed and working. It's acknowledging, taking a beat to acknowledge your thankfulness for the prosperity flowing to you. It's a beautiful ritual. It's inviting more in. It's everything good. So there's a sort of gratitude ritual that has to do with working with your tools that are bringing in. So if you have a lodestone that you're using to attract love, or you're using it to attract money or prosperity, you can sprinkle some magnetic sand on it and thank it for bringing that into your life. And there you go. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Kali says, that's a great explanation. I understand. Oh, great, good. Um, Little Hoodoo Witch, what kind of workings would you recommend to help someone open up to receive love, prosperity, healing for people that block out blessings out of fear or trauma? I think one of the things that comes to mind when you say this is probably clearing or cleansing work, which you can do clearing or cleansing work with incense. You can do clearing or cleansing work with bath crystals, doing bath. But if there's very stubborn energy of fear, which is fear is coming from ego. You know, fear is coming from that place of ego. It's not being in your high vibration. You want to sort of remove that low vibration stuff. A cleansing bath would be probably the first thing I would recommend, and doing a series of cleansing baths. You know, you could do 3, 7, 9, 13, you know, whatever. You choose magical number and do that series of cleansing baths to remove all of the blocks to those blessings. You could certainly do a cleansing bath with Blockbuster if there's real stubborn blocks, or road opener, and open up that energy. Van oil is another good one for cleansing bath to remove the negativity and just to bring in that good stuff. So I think that's where I'd start with that. You know, that's one thing you can do. Lots of things you can do, but that's one that pops in my mind. All right. Hi, Brendan. Brendan made a beautiful necklace for me. My necklace is at home and I'm at the shop today. So I will wear it definitely on one of my Sundays when it and I are in the same place, but it's at home, safe at home, and I'm at the shop. What's my number one favorite gemstone? It's a good question. I really like carnelian. Carnelian is a beautiful stone. I have so many gems that I love, but carnelian is a very powerful firestone for creativity, action. It's got like, definitely has that second chakra energy to it with creation and creativity. It's orange. It's got that orange energy. So I don't know, carnelian just popped in my head. That's one of the ones I love. I mean, there's so many that I love. I mean, where do I start? You know, there's, you know, beautiful jade, there's beautiful rose quartz, there's amethyst, which is gorgeous and amazing for connecting up. So there's a lot of beautiful stones. Black tourmaline is a gorgeous stone. It's like, they're all, it's like, ask me which is my favorite child. But carnelian tends to be a stone. Garnet is a stone I love too. But carnelian, I have a long history with working with carnelian, and I really like it. And so it's one of my favorites. All right, over on Instagram, what would you recommend for a truth spell, getting someone to reveal their true feelings? Well, depends on like kind of the situation underlying. Excuse me. Still like having the effects of that flu. Excuse me. For a truth spell, it depends. Are they hiding something because they're ashamed? Are they hiding something because they're shy? Are they hiding something because they did something bad? I mean, what is the underlying issue? I don't, it just sort of depends on that. But a nice opener energy, nice opening, clearing, cleansing, opening energy, which seems to have a lot of air energy, would be working with camphor. And definitely, if you're wanting someone to talk or say something, I would work with deer's tongue. So deer's tongue is an herb that is about communication in general, about talking and communication. But camphor is an opener, like it has a blockbuster road opener energy to it. So mixing those two together would be really good for getting someone to tell the truth, have a lot of clarity, be in a high vibration. And you might want to add some like high vibration, like clear quartz to that, which is very much of that crown chakra energy, truth energy. That would be good for magnifying that. So, you could do something with those and on a candle or mix them in the oil or something like that. So there you go. Let's see. Nicole, thank you. And Celtic Christmas is how amazing. I want to do this next time you do this. Yeah, I'll have some individual one-off classes. I'm going to say very, very unlikely that I'll do a week-long thing again, but not because it wasn't great. It was amazing, but it's a lot of work. And not everybody needs every single part of that week-long workshop. And it's hard to take off time out of work, but one-off classes in the evenings, that I will do again. And so hopefully, yeah, you can come or do it online. Wendy W says, how can we send love to a specific person through the law of attraction? Thanks. Oh, I've got a great spell for that, Wendy. Working with the moon is fabulous for sending messages, mental messages, whether or not you know the person or whether or not you have the connection to the person. The moon will be a powerful conduit for connecting to that person, known or unknown. So I give an example. I have a spell up on my YouTube channel that is for calling in your partner, your love, your soulmate. Even if you do not know who that person is, you can use the moon as a conduit for reaching out to them. So you can say, for example, future lover of mine, future husband, wife of mine, future true love of mine, soulmate of mine, whatever you want to call this unknown person. You can, when you see the moon up in the sky, and whatever phase it's in, you can use the moon as a conduit, because no matter where that person is in the world, the moon is shining down on that person as well. You don't need to know where you're sending it, just like you don't need to know where the person is when you're giving a cell phone call. You call a person and it goes to them wherever they are, right? So the same thing with working with the moon. Now, if you know who this person is and you want to use the moon as a conduit, you can absolutely do that. So you would just send that message, whether they're known or unknown, looking at the moon and sending that mental spirit message to them, like you're sending them a text message. I hope you're having an amazing night tonight. I can't wait to see you. I love you so much. I can't wait till we're in each other's arms. Whatever you can say, whether you know who that person is or it is an unknown or yet a person you have not yet met. But what you're doing when you're doing that is you're not only getting that message to them, which is quite a powerful thing. You're also creating threads of connection between you and that other person. And those threads of connection are then a powerful tool for you calling them to you, pulling them closer to you. So each time, I like to think of each time you look up at the moon and you're sending that message to your beloved person, whoever that person is, you're creating a little silver thread. Now, enough of those threads, as you start to do it, you're going to start to feel their energy coming back. Enough of those threads, you're going to have a conduit for calling them to you or pulling them to you. So that's why this is a very repetitive sort of thing that you don't do just once, but you do it over and over again. Because as you do it over and over again, you create a pipeline between you and that other person that you can then use magically for drawing that person to you. So take a look on my website or go to YouTube and look up the Madame Pamita Moon Magic or Moon Spell, and you'll see that spell, and I talk about that spell, and I talk about how to then support it with some candles afterwards. But the main juice, the main course of that spell is that aspect of telling the moon your message and sending it out there to whoever or wherever they are. Okay? All right, so that's a good one. All right. Let's see what we've got on Instagram. The Love Witch. Been missing you, Pamita. Congrats on your oils. Can't wait to try them. Oh, I'm so happy to hear from you. Number one, Love Witch. I met the Love Witch in Brooklyn at Catland. That was amazing. Love Witch is also a teacher. They teach some beautiful, gorgeous classes in magic. So you want to check out the Love Witch New York City on Instagram. And you could probably find out, there's probably links to the classes and so forth. But yeah, I'm happy to see you. Yeah, the oils are amazing. I have to say, you guys, when I make something, I make it because what I want doesn't exist out in the world. And I feel like it needs to be out there. So like when I started making candles, I made candles because nobody was making beeswax figural candles and I wanted beeswax figural candles. That's why I started making them. I would have been happy to buy them from someone else if someone else was making them, but no one else was making them. So I made them myself. The oils that I make, nobody was making oils that I thought were, number one, certain topics that aren't covered by the oils that exist out there in the world. So there's certain like fame and fortune oil. I think I'm the only one that makes a fame and fortune oil. I don't think anyone else does, to my knowledge. I never found one out there. So there's definitely oils that I make that don't exist anywhere else. And then the ones that I do make, I wanted to tweak them in some way, and kind of like what I thought was something that they needed or what were lacking. So, for example, I have in every oil, there's a gemstone in every oil that adds a solid groundedness to every oil. Each oil has its own gemstone that it vibrates with, and those gemstones, along with those herbs, really make a powerful oil. The oils also smell amazing. I think they smell amazing. I've worked a long time on learning the art of perfumery, so I could add this perfume element to the oils as well, because I think that scent journey is really important. And then lastly, the super pragmatic, practical thing. Nobody I was seeing out there, now, it could be that it exists and I didn't see it, but nobody I saw out there was making an oil with a dropper. And so I have, each oil comes with a regular lid, but it also comes with additional dropper lid that you can use on that oil, so that you can drop it into your candles, or you can drop it a certain number of drops into your bath, or you could, do blends or whatever you want to do. So that dropper is quite an important part of the oil too, even though it's like a practical material world part of it. But I think if you're working with oils, like I work with oils all the time, you long to have a dropper. You feel like, oh my gosh, this is what all oils need, is to have that little dropper lid, so that you can control them more and you can work with them in ways that make sense. So my oils have that component as well. And so these are the oils that I wished to see out there, and I wanted to see out there in the world that didn't exist out in the world. So you'll find weird things like creativity oil. That doesn't exist except for me making this high creativity oil, or fame and fortune oil, which didn't exist, but I had clients that wanted to have that fame and fortune energy, because I live in Los Angeles, and a lot of people are working on, careers where they want to bring in positive attention for their project or for themselves. And so, so I made that oil. So they're great selection. I think they're great. I think they smell amazing. Personally, I love the smell. I'm in love with all of the smells. I worked very hard on them, and so I think you're going to see all that love and care and knowledge that went into making them. And I know that you'll get good benefit from them. So, all right. Jane is asking, can we block a good reading by our actions? Of course, it's a roadmap. So I think I kind of answered that. That's what you were saying. If you see that there's love on the way, but you've got to be out there more, and you're being a hermit, and you continue to be a hermit, I think then you're just delaying your outcome. So that's the second part of that answer in a nutshell. Okay. Paul Haskins, hi. So glad you're teaching. Hi, Paul. Ginger says hello. Paul says, so glad you're teaching. Yeah, doing lots of teaching. So he says, happy Sunday. Omira says, I love Judika Illes. I love Judika Illes too. So Judika Illes, in case you don't know, you need to find out about her. She's an author of many books, but my favorite book of hers is the book of Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells, which I don't have here at the shop, but I do have at home. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal book. It's a huge book. It's like that thick. But it's a great book. If you are into spells and you're into spell working, it's like amazing reference. So much great information in there. And you could it's fun to read. It's absolutely a fun book to read. You can see all different kinds of spells from all different kinds of traditions, and it's amazing. Judika is a really amazing scholar, amazingly knowledgeable, great reader. And she and Mary Kay Greer, who is also an amazing tarot scholar, are going to be on a panel. The three of us are going to be on a panel talking about the scary tarot cards, which will be fun. What hair dye do you use for that fab color, says Sarah? My hair color is a combination of a red-violet base, which I don't know the name of it because my hairdresser, it's her mystical formula. I don't know what it is. My hairdresser is Tina Hunter at Fusion Salon in West Hollywood, by the way. So if anyone wants to go and get amazing color. She's the woman to go to. She does an amazing job with color. So Tina Hunter, Fusion Hair, shout out. Boop, boop. Anyway, then we put Punky Color Plum on top of that red violet base. So that's how I get my hair color to look like it does. Dr. Sadehi. Hi, Madam Pamita, do you have any in-person classes in Los Angeles? I just did a week of in-person classes, but I will be offering one-off classes probably as we get into spring and summer. I'll be doing some more classes. Yes. So the answer is yes, but not right now. But we'll do some soon. Hi, Beatsill. Hello from the lobby of Mean Girls in Broadway. Bartending for the show tonight. Oh, yeah, toast to you. Leeds is a talented actor. Leeds, you need my Fame and Fortune oil. It's going to tip you over the edge. I know you got the talent. You just need the attention on you. So you've got to get that oil. Leeds is over on Broadway. He's a Broadway actor, performer. All right. So happy you're back. Oh, thank you. I was not feeling well. I had a flu the week, not this week, but last week, and it was terrible. And I wanted to make sure I said my voice for my classes. Leeds Hill, get me tickets, says the Love Witch. You guys are so funny. All my New Yorkers. I love you guys. Nello says, I have a question in regards to a candle spell. If you're doing a call me working because someone hasn't spoken to you, although you don't know of any problem that you specifically did to have this problem occur, is there another working you recommend if the call me didn't work, the reconciliation worked, the healing didn't work? Okay, so you're trying different spells and you're not seeing a result. I would recommend doing a cleansing around it. It sounds like there's some blockages, maybe doing a blockbuster or doing a cleansing around this to see, remove anything that's blocking us from communicating or being together. I think that's where I'd start. You could do that on lots of different ways. Energetic purification candle is a great one for that. Spiritual cleansing candle. You could do a candle with Van oil on it, or Van candle. That would be great too. So all those would work. DN123, the other day a black crow was pecking at my air conditioner, and then a few days later 5 or 6 crows were on top of my window outside. Am I looking too much into it? It's probably a spirit guide for you. If crows are great spirit guides. They're really, like, if you look at what a crow represents, it's intelligence and reason. Crows and corvids are one of the only animals that, there's very few animals besides humans that have the ability to reason. And crows are extremely intelligent birds. They've done tests. If you look at like crows and intelligence, or corvids, which is the family that crows belong to, ravens, crows, and so on, are called corvids. If you look at corvids and intelligence, you see some amazing studies that they've done and tests that they've done. So I'm just going to give you an example because I'm just so into them. I love crows. So they would do, for example, they would take a cage and they would put a string and they put a little piece of meat. Now, crows like to eat meat. And they put a little meat on a string inside the cage. And the crow would come and see the meat in the cage, but couldn't get at the meat. Now, this is something they would never find in nature, right? This is a brand new puzzle for them to solve. And the crow figured out that if it pulled up the string and then stepped on it, and then pulled it up again and stepped on it, it could pull that string up all the way so they could get that meat and pull it through the bars of the cage. Now, they figured it out. The remarkable thing is this is something they would never find in nature. So they wouldn't have had any experience. It couldn't be taught from one crow to another, like mom teaching baby or dad teaching baby, right? This was something that only could be reasoned and figured out on the spot. And those crows figured it out. I think most people would figure, like, how could I get that out? And you'd finally figure out that you could, pull it out. But it, would take a minute for you to come up with a solution on how to get that meat out, or that tree, or whatever, right? So they found that crows have this amazing ability to reason. So what crows are coming around, and you're seeing that this is a totem animal, a spirit animal, power animal, and it has to do with reasoning and intelligence. So whatever is going on in your life right now, the crows are saying, use your brain. Your brain it has the answer. Use your reasoning, use your logic, use your mind, use your intelligence. I would say this crows coming around you are telling you that you are intelligent, that you have an amazing ability to use your mind. And so use that reasoning, use that intelligence to come up with the solution to whatever your problem is. Or let's say you don't have a problem. Let's say everything's going good in your life and crows are coming around. They're saying an opportunity is going to come for you to use that intelligence. Or maybe you should be utilizing your intelligence in some way that you're not utilizing it. But they're definitely messengers. Animals are messengers. And crows are messengers of intelligence, logic, and reasoning. So there you go. So hopefully that gives you some kind of thread to pick up on in terms of what this means that these crows are coming around. But they're amazing animals. I love them. Look up you guys, just look up some stuff about how smart crows are and how smart corvids are. You'll see some amazing things. All right. Let's see what we got here on Instagram. Hi guys. Oh, so many. Hi, Farah. How are you? Some of my friends and clients. How can I connect with ancestors using the tarot? That's a good question. Well, I would start by asking your ancestors to connect with you. And one of the beautiful ways that you can start that connection flowing is if you have a little ancestor altar going. I talk about ancestor altars on the podcast. So there's a podcast episode about ancestor altars. But basically, in a nutshell, you're going to do an ancestor altar. You set up a photograph. If you have a photograph of that ancestor, you light a candle, you leave a little treat. You might leave a little flower and some spring water and so on. But you set up a little altar to your ancestor. Start to build that relationship. Once you've done that, at least a week of having that, tending to that altar and connecting to them, you can start asking questions of them and then getting answers through tarot. Now, if you already know how to read tarot, you can ask your ancestors to show you the messages or show you the answers to your questions that you have for them. And you can interview them, what are you here to help me with? Or what is it? What was your life like? Or you can ask anything, and you can get those answers through tarot. So that's how I do it. But, you certainly could get answers through dreams. There's so many ways that you can connect with your ancestors. You can get dream messages. You can hear voices in your mind's ear. You might get images or visions of what their life was like, or, who they were, or flashes of their life, and so on. So, beautiful thing to connect with your ancestors. It's a nice thing to do. Skull candle is also good for connecting to ancestors. I forgot to mention that. Skull candle is great for that. So you could burn a little skull candle to connect to them. A white skull candle would be great, to connect to your ancestors. And then do that. Sharita, hi. Sharita, can anyone be successful in the spiritual path, or are you just born with it? If so, how would one know? Well, I think people can be successful in terms of your own personal connection, your own personal spiritual connection. I think we all have a spiritual connection. And then you might find that you have a talent in a certain area and you want to develop that talent. Where does your interest lie? Like not everything is going to work or be right for everybody. I'll give you an example from my own life. I have studied palmistry. I've researched it. I've looked into it. And I don't feel a spark about palmistry for myself. I like having it done. I like experiencing it. But in terms of me being a palmist, I don't feel a sparky energy around doing palmistry. It doesn't mean I don't love it. I love it. It's just that I'm not feeling the drive or the talent or that for doing that. I just don't feel it. Same thing. I could do math, but I don't feel like having a job doing math. Doesn't sound like fun to me. So I think that you're going to be drawn to doing certain things, whether it's healing or you're going to be a reader or you're doing root work for people. You're going to have an interest. And I think that's the first thing you want to look for. Are you intrigued with it? Are you curious about it? Are you interested? That's 90% of it. If you're interested, you're going to pursue it, and you're going to pursue it in a way that you're going to put energy and effort into that skill and building that skill. I think everybody has an intuition and an intuitive connection and a divine connection, and they have connection to their guides. But I think that the successful people, the ones who do it successfully, are ones who have learned the skill of not letting the ego get involved. That they let the ego get out of the way and just channel those messages and let it flow. When you do that, you start to find that your stuff will flow easier. I don't know, your magic will flow easier, your readings will flow easier. And I think that's the skill to learn, more than even learning how to do some kind of divination or learning how to do some kind of magic, is getting out of your own way. So anyone can be successful to a degree, but I think that the more you are able to manage that ego, the more spiritually connected you are, and that, I think, being spiritually connected takes you out of ego. The humbler you are, trying to be humble is, I think, a good aspiration, meaning you realize that you're here in service to others. It's not for your own glory. It's not for, but really to help people, because that's what we're put on this earth to do. The more you get in touch with that, I think the more success will follow. So if you have, Sharita, if you have a desire or an interest or anything in this area to pursue it, even as like your career path, I think that's a sign if you have that desire. And then what you have to do is to start doing the work of getting out of your own way and letting it flow, have confidence in yourself. I think one of the things that I love about teaching is teaching people that giving people the key to unlock their own treasure, so that they realize how powerful they are, and they get out of their own way and allow those good things to flow to them, and realize what master manifestors we all are. So if I can do that for anybody, then I feel like my mission is accomplished. I want you guys to really realize your own power. So anybody that's, quote, better at it than you they're only maybe better at getting out of their own way and not getting their ego involved. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. Anyway, it would be nice if you guys were sitting here and I could get instant feedback, but I think you guys get it. Samantha Pearl. Hi, girl. Hi. She's in New Orleans. You know what? When you hear something magical, I was walking down the street in New Orleans and someone goes, Pamita. And I'm like, what? And it was my friend Samantha Pearl. She was busking on the street. Amazing. What is love for January for Geminis? Well, every Gemini is different, but here's the thing I would say, it's a new year. It's a time to set new intentions. And if your intention is to draw love into your life, the best thing that you can do is to be love in the world. Be love in the world. Be someone who spreads love, and then you're going to attract love. Be that love. And I know with your music that you do that, you, Samantha. So just imbue your songs with love. Imbue it with a loving energy when you play. Imagine those sound vibrations going into people's bodies and bringing love to them. And that's going to attract love into your life. All right, we've got a few more minutes. We're going to get a couple more in. And then I'm going to head over to, I'm going to put it over again, the link at the bottom of the comments. I'm going to head over there to YouTube. We'll be continuing our chat in typewritten form. And we're going to have the video premiere of the video on how to work with a horseshoe candle. What is a horseshoe candle good for? What do we use it for? What kind of spell do we use it for? Well, you'll have to go over there and find out. Watch the video along with me. California Stardust, when using business cards as personal concern or petition paper, do I have to tear the corner like a regular paper or use it as is? I would just use it as is. I don't think there's any need to tear it. You don't have to. Bobby says, hello, hope you're feeling well. Yeah, I'm feeling much better than I was last week. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. All right, let's see what we got here. Whoops. Going back over to Little Hoodoo Witch says, thank you. You are so welcome. I'm glad I answered your question. Let's see. We got going over on, what's a good high-paying job spell? Thanks for being here. Oh, this is Aluna Hima. Aluna Hima is asking, what's a good high-paying job spell? Well, you'd want to use a green candle. Green candle represents growth and money. I would recommend, if you wanted to really get your increase your money, increase that growth, use a pyramid candle and set an intention that you attract in a job that's going to be high paying, that's going to increase your financial abundance. It's going to make it strong, steady, long lasting. You can use abundant prosperity oil on that and have great result with that. And just set that intention. Steady work oil also. Steady work and prosperity, abundant prosperity oil together on that pyramid candle would be great. Green pyramid all the way. That's what I would recommend. Let's see. And it's a sigil help with candle magic. Yes. Sigils are great. And if you're a sigil-oriented sort of person, then a sigil is a great thing. So if you don't know what a sigil is, sigils are where you can combine letters from a spell, like letters from the words in the spell, to create a design, almost like a logo. Like a sigil is almost like a logo for your particular spell. And you use the letters of maybe the first letter of each word, and you combine them together to create this design that's going to bring that magic, that's going to focus that magic from that spell into an image. So if you're image oriented, if you're a visual sort of person, sigils are a fantastic tool. Do they help with candle magic? Sure. If you draw a sigil on your candle or on the glass outside of your candle with a paint pen of some kind, it certainly can be another tool to help focus that magic. A petition paper does the same thing. So it's not like it's better or stronger or anything else. It's just another way of doing a petition. And if you're oriented to that, you like doing that, it feels good to do that, then do that. If you're more of a petition paper sort of person, then do that. Whatever works for you, right? No one way to do it right, and then all other ways are wrong. It's just another tool, another method, another option for you. Okay. All right. Colliera, do you think you'd get along with Emma Smallbone? She's an empath and seer who is into the idea of normalizing witchcraft using everyday rituals to discover and enhance your power as a creator. I don't know Emma Smallbone, so I can't speak to her specifically, but I like the idea of bringing magic into your everyday life. So if that's, that concept I like a lot, I do this, make your life magic. Why not make your life magic? Do spells. Here's what I'm going to give to you. I'm going to leave you with. We're going less than 2 minutes remaining. Affirmations are spells. Affirmations are spells. Words are spells. The words that come out of your mouth are spells. What spells are you creating? Are you saying, oh, I'm so broke, man, I'm so broke? Then you're saying a spell that you're so broke. Think about that. Are you saying, my prosperity is flowing to me? Love is flowing to me. I have so much love in my life. I have so much prosperity in my life. I'm so grateful for what I receive. I'm so grateful for this cup of tea, this cup of mint tea. Are you grateful? That's pretty magical that you don't even realize. Maybe you do realize. I give you guys credit. You probably do realize. you know that you have a cup of tea, right? That cup of tea has traveled over miles. Somebody grew it. Somebody harvested it. Somebody put it into a tea bag. Somebody packaged it. Somebody sold it in a store so that you could have your amazing, beautiful cup of mint tea while you talk to your amazing people, magical people in your life over the internet. Like we're in the future. I just want to point that out. You're seeing me on like a TV show. How crazy and futuristic is that? So if you are in gratitude and you are in appreciation and you are focusing on the magic that is in your life, everyday life, the magic of this mint tea being here, then you're living a magical life. And that's what I would totally encourage you to do. Live. All aspects of your life are magic. Live that magic. Appreciate that magic. Acknowledge that magic. All right, you guys, I'll see you over on YouTube, and I'll see you next week here. So, hey, YouTuber guys, we are going to go over to that link that I just shared at the bottom and at the top. We're going to go over there, and we're going to have 15 minutes of chat. I'll answer your questions over there through text chat. And then we'll watch a video premiere on how to work with a horseshoe spell. So we'll see you over there. Have a beautiful week, my loves, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.